I came home from the hospital with twins. A second fridge stood in the kitchen. "This one's for Mom and me. You buy food for yourself and the kids," my husband said. I said nothing. I slept. At dawn, he woke up and screamed at what he saw. "Hello, dear friends. Please tell us in the comments which city or country you're watching from. It's always interesting to see where our viewers are. Enjoy the story." The phone buzzed on the counter as I passed with a cup of mint tea. A preview flashed. A message from his mother. "Once she gives birth, everything will change. You'll finally have a normal life." The words didn't shout. They whispered like a draft under a locked door. I set the cup down. My belly, heavy with twins, pressed against the hem of my soft house dress. I knew his passcode. He never hid it. Not because he trusted me, but because he never thought I would look. The thread with his mother ran long. "Make sure the condo is in her name. Keep her off work at least a year. I'll move in to help." Help. That word did the most damage. I screenshotted everything, one by one, then mailed it to myself and wiped the outbox. Water stopped in the bathroom. Time shrank. I put the phone back where it was and picked up my tea. He came out rubbing his hair with a towel. "Dinner in about 20, he said to the screen, not to me. A new message popped up from his mother. He smiled, typed fast, and I felt our kitchen tilt. I said nothing for 3 days. I cooked. I cleaned. I finished reports for my clients from the couch with my feet on a pillow. I was a numbers girl. Numbers are honest. Patterns even more. The pattern was simple. Remove my footing, then take the house. Saturday, a knock. His mother arrived loud and floral, coral coat, oversized bag, and a voice that filled the room like steam. "Gifts for the babies," she said. Bottles, blankets, a stack of advice nobody asked for. She measured the wall by the window with a tape she pulled from her purse. "Just planning the space," she chirped. That night he tried the soft version. "Maybe don't rush back to work. A year at home would be better." "We agreed on half a year," I said. He sighed. "You control everything. Just be a mom." I closed the laptop. I will be a mother and a professional. He frowned at the word professional like it was a rival. On Monday, the neighbor with the tiny dog caught me by the mailboxes. "Saw your mother-in-law and your husband carrying big boxes to the storage. Looked like a move." The chill started between my shoulders. Storage. Labeled. Planned. I used our spare key, went down, and opened our unit. 4 boxes. My handwriting on old picture frames. My summer dresses. My notebooks. My grandmother's china. Pieces of me stacked for removal. I took a breath that scraped my ribs. I called my father. He picked up on the second ring. Voice steady, the kind that holds you up without touching. Retired Army. The kind who says little and means all of it. I asked if he could come after the birth. He said he could come yesterday if I needed. I started duplicating everything. Deed scans, bank statements, photos of the storage boxes, photos of the tape measure by the window, photos of the pink slippers in my hallway that were not mine. I pushed it all to the cloud and sent a copy to Dad. Labor started at 3 in the morning. The car ride was quiet except for his mother on speaker calling to remind him about a delivery window for the new fridge. "The one I sent you," she said. "We need our own. She buys all that green stuff." He cut the call. "She just wants to help," he told the windshield. The twins came screaming into the white light. 2 girls. The world split and then doubled. He stopped by, said he had work, left a bag of oranges, and didn't ask their names. I texted my father the discharge time for 2 days later and told him not to meet me at the hospital. Meet me at home. Morning of discharge, he arrived with his mother. She talked the whole elevator ride. I sterilized the bottles. I set the crib. I rearranged your kitchen so it makes sense. We stepped into the condo. I saw it before the welcome left her mouth. A second fridge. New, tall, silver. A white label on the door in a neat block print for Max and Mom. I put the carriers down. I opened the door of the new fridge. Deli meats, sheet cake, ready-made salads, wine. I closed it and looked at him. He coughed and stood a little taller, like policy lived inside him. "This is for me and my mom's groceries," he said. "You and the babies handle yours." I nodded once. Then I carried my daughters to the nursery and shut the door gently with one finger. That night, I fed them in the quiet while he and his mother whispered over tea, like managers of a store I no longer owned. I messaged my father. Early morning. He replied with 2 words. "We're coming." At 5, a soft knock. My father stepped in with my brothers, one smelling like the gym, one wearing a deputy's jacket. We moved like a team in a house that should have always been mine. I showed them the fridge, the robe in my closet that wasn't mine, the boxes in storage. We took pictures. We checked locks. We put a chain on the door. At 7, he shuffled toward the kitchen and stopped when he saw my family at the table. My deed lay in the center, like a quiet storm. My father stood, calm, big. "Good morning," he said. "We're here to help my daughter settle into her home. You have half an hour to collect your personal items." He tried the words, "my rights." My brother in the jacket explained how rights work when the deed says another name. The mother came out in a robe and went pale when the word trespass landed on the counter like a stamped form. I held my sleeping girl and watched him choose. He packed. He cried. He asked for a chance. I said one word he understood. No. I fed my daughters while my brothers unplugged the second fridge and pushed it into the hallway. The door clicked. The chain slid. The house exhaled. Sun pressed a thin gold line across the floor. The day began without them. Down on the curb, he stood next to the silver box that was supposed to split my family in 2. A truck pulled up. He loaded it. I closed the blinds and opened my laptop. Time to make the next move. The morning after the second fridge was rolled to the curb, the condo sounded different. The ceiling fan whispered a clean rhythm. No floral perfume in the air, no stray slipper by the hallway mirror. I held my daughters and counted breaths. 1, the deed still bore my name. 2, the chain sat firm on the door. 3, the plan had begun. His texts arrived in a river, long, wobbling half-apologies, stapled to half-excuses. "Let me explain. Family needs time. We can fix this." I answered with one word at a time. Later. Boundaries, witnesses. I had spent years writing essays to be heard. Now I wrote in stones. Near noon, the buzzer coughed. His mother. I left the sound hanging in the stairwell. Through the peephole, I watched her press a pretty smile against the lens for whoever might be listening on the other end of her phone. When no one answered, the smile slid and the voice hardened. "We will be back," she told the empty hall. I took a photo through the peephole. Timestamp. Small proof. Still proof. By evening, my father arrived with a wooden toolbox older than my marriage. He handed me tea, then walked the baseboards like a medic checking a pulse. He replaced a deadbolt, trimmed a stubborn strike plate, tightened hinges. Each notch of the screwdriver steadied my chest. "Houses talk if you listen," he said. "This one is saying, hold the line." I nodded. The house felt taller. After he left, I opened a cloth-bound notebook. 4 slim columns. Event, date, evidence, sent to. I was not planning revenge. I was building a record. Courts understand the difference. So do bullies. The twins slept. The city sighed. A dream came, and I woke with a sentence in my mouth. Boundaries are furniture. Place them once and place them right. I wrote it down. I underlined it twice. Morning brought small mercy. The church meal train texted. A deaconess with a calm voice said they would not step inside without my consent. Names, times, dishes. Not charity. Infrastructure. Community reads best when printed as a list. Then he came. No mother at his shoulder. Better version of him. Flowers in one hand. Shame on his face like an ill-fitting coat. "I messed up," he said. "I got lost. Let us try again." I kept my palm on the door. Trying again looks like this. You respect my property. You stop moving my things to storage. You stop calling control help. He bobbed his head too fast. "I can fix everything." You fix leaky faucets, I said. Trust is not a faucet. He swallowed. Can I see the girls? You can see them at the pediatric appointment next week, at noon, 30 minutes, with witnesses. The word witnesses struck him across old habits. I watched the impact travel through him. I logged the visit, door, flowers, requests, conditions. I photographed the bouquet and filed the image. I set the notebook on the table like a stern companion. The kettle clicked. A neighbor texted that she was around if I needed anything. Need had become a map, and I was learning it. That night, my father returned with graph paper rescued from some forgotten workshop. He sketched the condo as if planning a rescue. Night feeding routes, he said, and safety points. He circled the locks. He marked the light switches. He pointed to the balcony and shook his head. No arguing after dark. Night is for sleep and for guard duty. It was a rule spoken without irony. He has never used many words. None of his words are wasted. When the twin glow of the baby monitors softened and the street lamps drew their quiet bars across the floor, I opened my laptop and sent an email to myself. I am taking back more than walls. I am taking back my voice. The copy landed in my inbox. No one else could delete it. Just before dawn, the lobby reader beeped. A fob brushed the glass. No entry. Footsteps climbed one flight and stopped. Silence pressed its ear to the door. I recorded the audio and sent it to my father and brothers. The reply came fast. They walk the old map. They no longer hold the key. Midday, his mother tried a new mask, a text that tasted like candy. Sweetheart, I only meant to help. In my years, I have learned a few things. In her years, she had learned about second fridges and measured curtains. I answered with 2 words. No, boundaries. Then I built a filter and exiled her messages to a folder I would never open. Weeds belong behind a fence. He appeared again at dusk with a paper bag labeled for everyone. Eggs, milk, bread. A quiet bid for normal. I thanked him and kept him on the threshold. Neutral ground only, I said. Short conversations. Recorded. His jaw tightened at the last word. We will meet at the doctor's. Do not come upstairs uninvited. He tried to hand me a set of spare keys he had copied in better days. He laid them on the hallway table, as if returning a crown. I did not touch them. My brother, the deputy, would check the locks anyway. Symbolic gestures are not security. After he left, I called the property office. The manager confirmed the guest list and updated the file. Only my father and my brothers were authorized. Anyone else would be told to wait in the lobby. Written policy, logged, readable. The kind that holds up when voices get loud. Evening brought a soft knock. My neighbor with the tiny dog. She stood barefoot on the welcome mat with a casserole and the question everyone asks when they mean well. How are you? I told her the truth in 2 beats. Tired, focused. She nodded. I am across the hall. Knock as hard as you want. Community again. Not a speech. A door at arm's length. I fed the twins in the long blue of early night. Between burps and lullabies, I labeled photos. The robe in my closet that was not mine. The tape measure against the kitchen wall. The boxes in storage with my handwriting on their sides. I emailed the set to myself and to my father. 2 clouds, 2 copies. Redundancy is not fear. It is design. At midnight, I stood in the kitchen and let the silence explain itself. The room could breathe. The counter held only my mug, my pump parts, my notebook. No second tower humming rules at my back. I opened a drawer and slid in a single page titled House Rules. I did not tape it anywhere. I did not announce it to anyone. The rules were not for them. They were for me. No opening the door without my consent. No meetings in private without a witness. No conversations that wander. Record, then hang up. No help that rearranges my life. I closed the drawer. The fan turned. The building settled. I could feel the house align itself around those sentences like bones around a spine. My phone buzzed. A short message from my father. Sleep. I will patrol the hallway until dawn. He would not knock. He would not hover. He would just be there, a quiet weight against the door from the other side, like a chair braced under an old handle. I slept. Morning stretched thin and gold across the crib. I brewed coffee and read the pediatric schedule. Noon in 3 days, 30 minutes, witnesses. I pictured the clinic's bright lobby, the polite desk staff, the toys in a clean bin, neutral ground. If he wanted to be a father, he could start in a room with good lighting and other adults. By late afternoon, the property manager called back. "A delivery was attempted," she said. "Someone tried to bring up a large appliance. We declined. Your file saved the day." A breath I had not noticed left my body. She laughed softly. "I like the part about no new fridges." I thanked her. I wrote it down. Event, date, evidence, sent to. The notebook grew, steady and calm, a spine made of paper. When the sun fell, the intercom chimed once. Not a buzz, a ring. A measured sound you answer when you want to be seen. I pressed the button. "Who is it?" "Pastor Elaine," a voice said. "Dropping off a meal and a blanket the quilting circle made. Left it at the desk if you prefer." I chose the desk. We waved through glass. No performance, just presence. I took the bag upstairs and covered my daughters with the quilt. Tiny stitches, patient hands, a quiet army that does not march but holds. The twins slept. I washed the bottles. The faucet sang. The apartment felt like a chest that finally fit my ribs. Near midnight, metal scraped below. A key probed the lobby door. Not a fob. Brass in a lock it did not own. I hit record and lifted the chain. The hallway waited, pale and still. The metal scratch below tasted old. Not a building fob, a brass key from a life that no longer fit. I hit record and waited. Footsteps tested the lobby, then faded. The twins shifted and sighed. I filed the audio with a name that meant something in court, attempted entry after notice. At first light, I wrote my rules clean on a single page and slid them into the top drawer. They were not a speech. They were a spine. No door opens without my consent. Meet only on neutral ground. Keep conversations short and recorded. No help that rearranges my life. I brewed coffee. My father texted one word: steady. The building seemed to answer. Pipes hummed. Sun drew thin gold across the floorboards. I breathed with the house. Before noon, his mother tried another story. Sweet vowels, long paragraphs. I only wanted to help. In her years, she had learned to measure a kitchen and label another woman's food. I replied with 2 words: no. Boundaries. Then I built an email filter and sent her messages to a folder named Weeds. I would never open it. He arrived near dusk with a grocery bag labeled for everyone: eggs, milk, bread, the quiet choreography of normal. I kept him on the threshold. Neutral ground, I said. Short, recorded, witnessed. His jaw clicked at that last word. Witnesses bruise old habits. He set a set of spare keys on the hall table, a ceremony meant to look like respect. I did not touch them. Symbols do not secure doors. After he left, I called the property office. The manager confirmed the access list, added a note about delivery attempts, and read back the policy in a voice that sounded like laminated paper. No appliances to the unit without the deed holder present. I could feel my shoulders loosen. Paper can be a wall. Evening softened. A neighbor tapped once and held up a casserole like a banner of truce. "Across the hall," she said. "Knock hard if you need." Community is not a speech. It is a door within reach. When the twins slept, I labeled photos. The robe in my closet that was not mine. Tape measure bites on the kitchen wall. Boxes in storage with my handwriting. I mailed the set to myself and to my father. 2 clouds, 2 copies. Redundancy is not fear. It is design. Near midnight, the intercom rang a single polite bell. I answered. "Who is it?" "Pastor Elaine," a gentle voice said. "Meal drop and a quilt from the circle. Desk pickup if you prefer." I chose the desk. We waved through glass. Presence without pressure. I covered my daughters with the quilt, small stitches laid by patient hands. Quiet armies hold. Morning came with a new attempt, a message from an unknown number claiming to be the building tech, asking for access to check the smoke detectors. I called the office. They had sent no one. I forwarded the message to my father and to my brother in the deputy jacket. He wrote back, "Classic pretext. Do not engage." I did not. By noon, the property manager called again. "There was an appliance delivery attempt yesterday. We turned it away. Your file helped." She paused, a smile in her voice. "I like the part about no new fridges." We both laughed once, low and relieved. I logged the call. Afternoon quieted. I mapped routes for night feedings on my father's graph paper, crib to chair to sink to crib, light switch here, flashlight there. He had circled the balcony and written 2 words. No debates. Night is for sleep and guard duty. I obeyed. He texted close to sunset. I need to talk face to face. I typed back 3 words. Doctor's office only. He tried again. Please. 10 minutes, I repeated. Neutral ground. Witnesses. Silence. Then, fine. Noon on Tuesday. I put it in the notebook. Event, date, evidence, sent to. The page looked like a straight line through fog. Evening brought a thin knock. My father on the other side of the door, not entering, just checking the chain. "All good," he said. His voice never rises. That is his way of being loud. I set the baby monitors by my mug and washed the bottles. The faucet sang its steady song. I could hear my heartbeat fall into step with the small machines that kept my daughters fed and sleeping. Systems beat speeches. I was building systems. Close to midnight, a different sound. Not brass at a lobby door, not a polite ring. A soft scrape at the unit lock itself. I lifted the chain and held my phone near the peephole. Through the fisheye, the hallway stretched pale and narrow. A shadow shifted out of view. "Who is it?" I asked. A beat. Then his mother's voice. Sugar poured slow. "Sweetheart, I brought soup. You need rest." "The desk only," I said. "Leave it downstairs." Another beat. The sugar browned. "We are family. Family has keys." "Not to this door." I lifted the camera and let the red light glow. Her breath sharpened. Footsteps retreated. The elevator hummed. I filed the recording and texted the time to my father and brothers. My brother replied, "Documented. If they try again, we escalate." Dawn thinned the sky. I packed the diaper bag for the pediatric visit. Swaddles, wipes, spare onesies, insurance card, a printed sheet that listed the father's 30-minute window and the clinic's policy on supervised visits. Facts make good walls. He texted once more before sunrise. "I will be there. I will be calm." I typed back 1 line. "So will I." I dressed the twins in soft cotton and tied my hair with the silk scarf my grandmother left me. The condo breathed even. My notebook lay open on the table like a quiet oath. At noon, I rolled the stroller into the clinic lobby. Bright lights, clean bins of toys. The receptionist lifted her head and smiled. Behind me, the door opened again and footsteps crossed the tile. I did not turn yet. I placed my notebook on the counter and said, "For the record." The clinic smelled like lemon and paper, bright lights, clean bins of toys. I placed my notebook on the counter and told the receptionist, "For the record." She nodded and stamped the sign-in sheet. Witnesses are not a threat. They are light. Footsteps crossed tile behind me. I did not turn. The receptionist did. "Name?" she asked. "My son," his mother said, already bending rules. "We are family." "Only the parents are cleared," the receptionist replied, voice level. Additional guests wait in the lobby. I turned. He stood with flowers and the same coat from the day he left the oranges at the hospital. She stood just behind his shoulder, eyes scanning for purchase like a climber feeling for a hold. "My father will be present," I said. "And my brother." I looked past them. My father's shape filled the doorway. Behind him, my brother's badge flashed in a modest way, a quiet sun. The receptionist drew a neat line under the time block. 30 minutes, she said. A nurse will remain in the room. His mother exhaled like someone had broken a crystal. We do not need a nurse. He touched her elbow. Mom. We followed the nurse down a short hall. White walls, laminate floors that made every step honest. In the exam room, the nurse set a chair by the wall and a small stool by the scale. I will chart vitals, then I will stay, she said. The clipboard clicked. The clock began. He looked at the twins, and some real softness broke through the practiced face. They are smaller than I pictured, he whispered. They were born early morning, I said. You were there for a minute. A flicker crossed him. He arranged his mouth for an apology. I was scared. Me too, I said. I did not leave. His mother stayed in the doorway like a storm waiting to enter. You cannot cut a father out, she said to the room, not to me. Children need a man in the house. They need safety in the house, my father replied, calm as a level. The nurse did not look up. She wrote something steady and unhurried on the chart. He reached toward one twin. I nodded. He picked her up, awkward, careful, strangely new. For a breath, the room softened. Then he turned toward the door. Let me take them to the lobby for a second. Fresh air. No, I said. This is the room. This is the time. He froze like a boy near a fence. Habit to push. The nurse set down her pen. They stay here, she said. Clinic policy. The word policy landed like a sandbag. He nodded and sank back into the chair, holding the small weight of his daughter like a legal truth. We spoke in clean sentences. I set the terms the court would expect if this ever needed a court. Exchanges only in public places, messages only through a co-parenting app that saves receipts, no surprise visits, no mother at the threshold. He tried a different angle. My mom can help at nights. Your mother brought a second fridge, I said. Help is not redecoration of my life. His mouth twitched. You are making this hard. I am making this safe. The nurse checked the clock. Half time, she said. The clipboard clicked again. My brother shifted his weight. My father watched the door with the patience of a sentry who has seen too many doors. He asked about child support without using the phrase. Money is tight now. Babies are expensive now, I said. Talk to your payroll. Talk to a lawyer if you need it. Systems again. Not sermons. His mother could not hold the boundary any longer. She stepped into the room, voice sweet enough to stick. Honey, you are tired. Let him come back home. I will sleep on the couch. We will work together like grown-ups. I kept my voice flat. You measured my kitchen. She blinked. I was helping. You labeled food that was not yours. Silence laid a thin sheet over the room. The nurse looked up. Time. She wrote the final note and stood. We are done for today. He handed the twin back with a face that cracked and tried to fix itself. I will be better, he said. Be better somewhere else, my father answered, still gentle. It sounded like a blessing and a boundary. We moved back into the lobby. Signatures. A copy of the visit summary for each parent. Paper made a small hill between us. He picked up the flowers he had set on the chair and turned to his mother. She was already whispering a map I would not follow. At the desk, I asked the receptionist to add a note to my file. Exchanges in well-lit spaces only. Witnesses preferred. She typed and read it back. Words that would be there long after this day was a story. Outside, winter sun laid pale coins on the hood of my father's truck. He loaded the stroller with a care that was almost ceremonial. My brother checked the mirrors. My phone vibrated. An email from the property office. Subject line plain, mail notice. I opened it. A photo of a form. A change of address request had been filed for my unit for household consolidation. Submitted online. Name listed, his mother. Requested redirect to a mailbox across town. A quiet heat rose behind my ribs. I handed the phone to my brother. He read, then nodded once. Fraud attempt, he said. We file a postal inspector report today. We flag all accounts. You change nothing except your passwords. My father closed the tailgate. We go home, he said. We lock the door. We keep receipts. I climbed into the truck and held my daughters. The city slid by in measured blocks. My notebook lay open on my lap. Event, date, evidence, sent to. I wrote the words slowly and plain. Address change. Attempt by his mother. Then I mailed the photo to myself and to my father. The twins slept. My phone buzzed again. A new message from an unknown number. Package delivery today. Large item. Need access to unit. I called the property office on speaker. The manager picked up. "We have no deliveries scheduled," she said, "and your file says no appliances. I will alert security." I hung up and looked at the quilt over the twins. Tiny stitches, patient hands, quiet armies hold. When we turned into the garage, the security gate stood open. In the shadow near the service elevator, a dolly waited with straps and a box the size of a fridge. A figure stepped back into the dim and held out a key that was not theirs. The gate hung open like a question. In the shadow by the service elevator stood a dolly with straps and a box as tall as a bad idea. A man in a warehouse jacket lifted a key that did not belong to him. My father braked and kept the engine running. My brother stepped out first, badge low, voice lower. "Loading dock only. Who sent you?" The man shifted his weight. "Work order from a Miss Martin. Unit says urgent replacement. Signature on delivery." "My name is on the deed," I said. "There is no work order." He glanced toward the dim where another shape waited. My brother's stance turned from polite to official. "No entry without the deed holder present," he said. "Turn it around." The elevator dinged. The second shape retreated, quick and guilty. The delivery man swallowed, lifted his hands, and started unstrapping the box. "No problem, ma'am. We will take it back." Security rounded the corner, called by the property manager. Paper beat shadows again. The guard logged the attempt, wrote down the truck plate, and asked for the name on the request. "Martin," the driver said. I watched him spell it. He did not look at me. We stood until the dolly rolled away and the gate shut with a clean metal sentence. My father exhaled. My brother snapped photos. Event, date, evidence, sent to. I could hear the headings in the click of his phone. Upstairs, the condo felt like a chest that fit my breath again. I laid the twins in their crib and set the quilt over them like a promise. My brother called the non-emergency line to log the delivery fraud and the lobby key attempt. "Paper first," he said when he hung up. "Always paper first." I opened my laptop. Fraud alert with the credit bureaus, freeze on new accounts, new passwords that were long and boring, the kind that do not crack under pressure, co-parenting app created with clean rules, day, time, location, duration, no extras, no surprises. The property manager emailed a building trespass notice addressed to his mother by name. It read like a calm door. No access without the deed holder's written consent. Any attempt would call security. Any escalation would call the police. A copy attached to my file. Another printed for my door if I wished. I did not tape it. I did not want her name on my wall. I filed a report with the postal inspector for the change of address attempt. The form asked for dates and screenshots. I gave it dates and screenshots. Systems do not care about speeches. They eat evidence and produce outcomes. He texted at dusk. I did not order anything. I swear I am trying. I typed the only line that mattered. Keep trying from your address. The twins woke, hungry and loud. I moved through the routes my father had drawn on graph paper. Chair to sink, sink to crib, light switch here, flashlight there, systems again. The quiet of competence is a kind of prayer. Near midnight, my phone buzzed with a new number. "Cease and desist," the message began, a copy and paste bullhorn of legal words without legal weight. It accused me of parental alienation for insisting on clinic visits and witnesses. It demanded immediate door access for family support. I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to my father and to a family lawyer a friend from church had recommended. The lawyer replied before morning with 3 sentences stripped of drama. "You are following best practice. Maintain the record. Do not respond to threats by text. All communication through the app." Before dawn, the building slept deep. Then a new sound, the gentle whine of rubber feet and a toolbox being set down. My father's shadow filled the peephole. He nodded when I opened. "Locksmith," he said, on my dime. The locksmith worked like a violinist tunes. Quiet, sure, new cylinders, new keys. One for me, one for my father, none for anyone else. We signed his invoice, and I photographed it. Paper walls, metal bones. By mid-morning, a woman from the church stopped by the desk with a clipboard and a soft, competent smile. She ran the meal train, the rides, the babysitting swap. "We do not step inside unless you say so," she reminded the receptionist. "We log arrivals and departures." I liked the word log. It fit the week. He wrote in the app just after noon. "I want to see the girls at the park this weekend." I answered, "Public library reading room, Saturday, late morning, half an hour, my father present. No additional guests." He typed, erased, typed, fine. In the afternoon, a letter slid under the door. Not a hand, just paper. The envelope bore a logo from his mother's lawyer. Inside, a demand to be added to the lease for grandmother support during postpartum. My laugh came out dry and surprised. There is a point where audacity stops looking like strategy and starts looking like confession. I scanned the letter and emailed it to the property manager and the family lawyer. The manager replied with a single sentence, "Owners control occupancy." The lawyer followed with two more. "Do not reply. We will respond if needed." The small, hard comfort of competent people speaking in complete clauses. Evening brought a knock that telegraphed habit. 3 quick taps, a pause, then 2 more. His mother's rhythm. I did not answer. The peephole showed only a wilted bouquet left on the mat and the tilt of a shoulder just out of view. I recorded the hallway. The elevator swallowed her with a soft mechanical swallow. I fed the twins in the soft hour when the city dims and the building settles. I read the library schedule on my phone. Story time listed. Bright room, open sight lines, chairs close enough for witnesses, far enough to breathe. I pictured the scene and the edges around it. I pictured the edges more than the scene. Close to midnight, my brother texted from the garage. Saw him pacing by the alley, hands empty, eyes loud, did not approach, logging it. His words were always short and exact when he was in that mode. My father sent a single word from the hallway chair, steady. Before sleep, I opened my notebook and wrote a line that belonged to more than this week. I am not explaining myself to people who profit from my confusion. I closed the cover and set it under the lamp like a stone. Morning broke clean and pale. I dressed the girls in soft sweaters and packed the diaper bag with precision that felt like training. Wipes, snacks, insurance card, copy of the building trespass notice, copy of the clinic summary, copy of the meal train rules. Paper weighs little and holds a lot. We stepped into the elevator. The doors opened to the lobby, and the same receptionist who had stamped our clinic visit smiled at the twins. "Reading room is warm," she said. "Good light." We wheeled into the street. The city breathed a little smoke and a little hope. The library's glass front caught the winter sun and spread it thin across the steps like a clean sheet. Inside the foyer, a man in a tie stood beside the bulletin board with a folder in his hands and a look people wear when they deliver things you do not want. "Are you Ms. Martin?" he asked. "I have papers for you." The man in the tie held a folder like a tray. "Are you Ms. Martin? I have papers for you." "Identify yourself," my father said, stepping between us without touching. Calm voice, clear eyes. "Process server," the man replied. "Hand delivery." "Leave them on the table," I said. "I will not discuss on the sidewalk." He set the folder on the foyer table under a corkboard full of piano lessons and lost mittens. I photographed the cover, the time, his badge. He nodded once, professional and plain, and walked back into the bright. Inside, the library smelled like clean carpet and old paper. The reading room sat beyond a glass wall. Sun poured thin across small chairs. A children's librarian greeted us with a whisper and a smile. "Story time in 10 minutes," she said. You are welcome to sit at the back." My father rolled the stroller to a corner with a sight line to every door. He has a geometry for safety that he never names. I opened the folder. A petition. Not from him. From his mother's lawyer. Words stacked into a demand for temporary household access to provide postpartum support, plus a page accusing me of blocking family. The letter cited nothing binding. It read like a fog trying to be a wall. I texted a photo to the family lawyer, received at the library. Do I need to respond now? Her reply came fast. No emergency. Do not engage. I will file a short answer and a motion to strike. Keep your record clean. Enjoy your children. I closed the folder and slid it under the diaper bag. My father watched the door. He is late, he said. He will come, I said. People who test boundaries always come back to the boundary. He arrived before the songs began. No flowers, no coat to hide behind, just a man who had not slept well. He raised a hand in a small wave. My father nodded. A librarian placed baskets of board books on a low shelf and announced the rules of the room in a cheerful whisper. Inside voice, kind hands, stay with your grown-up. He looked at his daughters and something warm and unperformed moved across his face. He asked if he could sit. I said yes, back row, my father beside us. He sat. He reached for the stroller handle. I placed my hand over his. Look, I said, do not steer. He let go. He took one daughter when I nodded. He held her like a fragile agreement. For a few breaths the room held. A song about buses began. Tiny hands clapped. An infant yawned and the world seemed briefly simple. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced down, quick and guilty. A message from his mother lit the screen with the bright cruelty of noon. Ask for the keys. The deputy will not stop you in public. Take one baby to your place for a nap. She cannot make a scene here. He saw me see it. The old map flashed in his eyes. My father did not lean in. He did not frown. He simply shifted his chair so the aisle narrowed to the width of a choice. I spoke low. Return the phone to your pocket. Keep your hands where I can see them. Hold your daughter or hand her back. Those are the options. He swallowed and nodded. He held still. The song ended. The librarian read a short book about a quiet bear and a bright morning. Words so simple they sounded like law. At halftime, the librarian passed out foam scarves for a game that teaches gentle touch. He lifted his scarf and smiled despite himself. He brushed it over his daughter's foot and she startled, then relaxed. For a moment, the room was only that soft, silly thing. Then the door opened and his mother stepped inside, sunglasses on, voice already shaped for performance. "Honey," she whispered too loud, "I brought warm milk. She needs rest." She carried a thermos and the assumption that need equals permission. The librarian put up a hand, small and firm. "Adults listed on the child's card only," she said. "Please wait in the lobby." His mother aimed her voice past the rule. "We are family." I did not stand. I did not turn. "Lobby," I said, "or leave." Security appeared without haste. A man in a vest, polite and solid. He did not touch her. He stood where the room narrowed to one path and looked at her with the patience of people who move crowds for a living. She retreated with a theatrical sigh that did not move the vest. He sagged. A little air let out of an old tire. "I am sorry," he said. "Me too," I said. "You can be a father. You cannot be an accomplice." The clock's small hand moved. The librarian called the last song. My father checked the door with his eyes and the hallway with the habit that beats luck. When the time ran out, I stood. "Thank you for coming," I said. "Next visit, we keep the same rules. Same place or the clinic. 30 minutes, witnesses. No extras." He nodded. "I can do that." He looked like a man deciding whether to become someone else. At the desk, I asked the librarian to sign a brief note that he attended, that the visit was calm, that an unlisted adult attempted entry and was redirected. She printed her name with a cheerful dot over the I. paper again, small and strong. Outside, wind skimmed the glass. My father opened the truck and loaded the stroller. I buckled the twins and sat with the folder in my lap. The petition felt thinner than fear and heavier than air. My phone buzzed. The lawyer had sent a draft response. Plain words, clean lines. Grandparent access is not automatic. Deed holder controls the home. Any contact occurs at the mother's discretion in public. Supervised settings until trust is rebuilt. Unilateral appliance deliveries and mail tampering are documented and pending with building management and postal inspectors. Reading it was like leaning against a wall that did not move. We drove home. The garage gate closed behind us with a metal sentence I trusted. In the elevator, my father said one word: water. He pours tea when the fight ebbs. It is his ritual for the end of a shift. Upstairs, the condo breathed even and familiar. I laid the twins down and checked the monitor. My father put the kettle on. Steam rose. The city thinned to a hum. I opened my notebook. Event, date, evidence, sent to. I logged the service in the foyer, the visit at the library, the attempted entry by his mother and the librarian's note. I attached photos and audio. The page looked like a map of a small war fought with doors and light and paper. A soft knock. My neighbor with the tiny dog. She held a bag of diapers and a question. "Do you need anything?" I answered truthfully. "A quiet 5 minutes." She smiled and left the bag and took the hint. I poured tea and let the cup warm my hands. My father checked the chain and set his chair near the door, the way he always does when night begins. Systems again, not speeches. My phone vibrated on the table. A new message came through the co-parenting app. No drama, just a line. "Thank you for today. I will come alone next time." I typed back. "Do that, and we can build something that holds." Wind pressed once against the window and then let go. The twins sighed in their sleep. The condo felt tall. The rules felt like furniture placed once and placed right. I closed the notebook and reached for the folder with the petition. I slipped it into a plastic sleeve and filed it in a drawer labeled Noise. The drawer shut with a small, satisfying click. The intercom chirped. Not a buzz. A coded tone the property office used only for staff. I pressed the button. The manager's voice came through, steady. "Ms. Martin, quick heads up. Someone just attempted an online maintenance request to add a second name to your access file. The surname matches the appliance order. We blocked it. Would you like the IP address and timestamp?" "Yes," I told the manager. "Send me the IP and the timestamp." An email arrived before the call ended. I forwarded it to my brother and to the lawyer, then added a line to the notebook. Attempt to add access name online. Blocked. Logged. My father poured tea. "Next lever?" he asked. "The order," I said. "Not drama. Paper." By noon, my lawyer filed for a temporary protective order limited to interference at the residence and at child exchanges. Narrow, boring, designed to hold. The petition listed the appliance delivery attempt, the address change request, the library incident, the key at the lobby, the access file edit. Dates, screenshots, audio, each item a brick. She sent me the stamped copy. Seeing the clerk's seal drop like a small sun on the page slackened something behind my ribs. He wrote in the app, "What is happening?" "Mom says you are escalating." I answered with the only frame that mattered. "I am securing safe boundaries for the babies and me. Stay within the rules and the paper will sit in a drawer forever." A pause. Then, understood. Mid-afternoon brought a knock with authority in it. 2 officers, calm and neutral. "Wellness check," the taller one said. "Anonymous call claimed crying and yelling." I stepped back so they could see the tidy living room, the sleeping twins on the monitor, my father at the table with a mug and a paperback. I kept my voice even. "You are welcome to view the nursery from the doorway. Shoes stay on, hands off surfaces, body cam on." I handed over the pediatric printouts and the clinic note. "We log everything." They glanced, nodded, and did the briefest, most professional sweep I have ever seen. No pity, no theater, just work done clean. At the door, the taller officer lowered his voice half a notch. "We often get these when families set boundaries," he said. "Document the call time. If it repeats, your lawyer can add a clause." They left. The hall swallowed the quiet behind them. I texted my lawyer the incident number and asked the manager to pull entry logs around the time of the call. She replied with a screenshot. No one had come up. The call was noise. We added the noise to the file. At dusk, the co-parenting app pinged. "Library again this Saturday? Alone this time?" "Yes," I wrote. "Same window, same terms." He added, "I have started a separate lease. Looking for a studio near work. No extras." I read the line twice. It did not absolve him. It was not a promise. It was a lever, turning one click in the right direction. "Send the address through the app when signed," I answered. "It helps planning exchanges." My father drew a new square on his graph paper. "Saturday flow," he said. He mapped the elevator, the garage, the street, the lobby. He does not say safe. He draws it. The twins woke, and the small machinery of bottles and burp cloths and warm water rotated as intended. Systems, then sleep. Before bed, I opened the drawer labeled noise and slid in the stamped order. The paper made a flat, final sound. Morning bent pale across the kitchen tile. Pastor Elaine texted, "Childcare slot open on Sunday if you want 1 hour of quiet. No pressure." I answered yes. Community offered a small, sane trade. 1 hour of quiet in exchange for nothing but trust. Just after 10 a.m., the property manager called again. "We flagged your unit for extra vigilance. Also a reminder, you can request a do not knock list. It is not law, but staff will enforce it." She paused. "I am adding 2 last names that match your file. Confirm?" "Confirm," I said. Small tools build big houses. At noon, an email from the postal inspector. "Your identity theft report is logged. If mail is rerouted or tampered with, contact us with your case number." I printed the case number and taped it inside the notebook's back cover, paper to the end. Afternoon drifted quiet. I sanitized bottles, folded onesies, answered 2 work emails in clean client language. My head remembered the pleasure of solvable problems. Numbers behave, contracts end, babies sleep. Near 4, the intercom chimed with the staff code again. The manager's voice. "Ms. Martin, a woman matching a prior description is in the lobby asking to be added to the guest list. She says she brought formula." "Do not add," I said. "If she leaves anything, log and discard." A short pause. Copy. For what it is worth, she does not like the word discard. "I have noticed." I brewed coffee and wrote a sentence on an index card to keep on the fridge where only I would read it. Clarity beats charm. It is not poetry. It is ballast. Evening, my brother texted a single photo. A small studio with a view of a concrete wall and a lease on a counter. Saw him at the complex on Maple. Looks like he signed. No mother in sight. He was not tailing anyone. He was running into things because he lives in this city, and this city is small when men unravel near it. I sent back a single dot. "We do not celebrate too early. We just mark." Night thinned. The twins settled. I checked the chain. My father set his chair by the door and opened his paperback again. Routine is a form of courage when you refuse to dramatize it. Just before midnight, my phone lit with a court email. The judge had set a short remote hearing for early next week to review the protective order and to instruct both parties on contact rules. The clerk attached a dial-in and simple instructions that could be followed by anyone willing to read. I forwarded it to my lawyer. She wrote back 2 words, "We're ready." Saturday came on time and without weather. The library smelled like last time, clean and bright. The children's room hummed with a small, sane chaos. He arrived alone, hair washed, nervous energy turned down to a human setting. He asked before sitting. I nodded. He sat. 30 minutes moved the way time always moves when adults commit to being adults. After story time, he stood and did not reach for the stroller. "Thank you," he said. The words were not magic. They were fine. The librarian signed my note again with her cheerful dot. Outside, winter tried a thin wind and gave up. We rolled back home in a city that pretended to be quiet. In the lobby, the receptionist lifted an envelope from the desk. "Left for you," she said. No return address. I opened it at the table upstairs with my father watching the door and the twins breathing in stereo. Inside lay a single photo. The second fridge in a storage unit somewhere, unplugged, door taped shut. Across the bottom, a line in careful block letters. "This was a bad idea. I am done with them. I will meet you at the clinic on Tuesday. Alone." No signature, but the handwriting was his. My father studied the picture. "Men say many things," he said. "Paper beats hope, but this is paper." I slid the photo into the notebook and wrote the date. Then I wrote 3 words I had not allowed myself yet. "Trajectory looks good." I did not underline them. Sunday, Pastor Elaine took the twins for 1 hour while I sat in a silent room at church with a cup of coffee and a legal pad. I listed 10 things I could not control. Then I listed 10 I could. Locks, logs, the app, the places, the times, my tone, the lawyer's calendar, my work hours, the pantry, the sleep routine. I crossed out the first list. The pen line felt like a door closing. On the way home, I passed a hardware store and bought a small, dull bell. At the condo, I screwed it onto the inside of the front door, low enough that it would ring if someone pushed too hard. The sound was nothing like an alarm. It was home-sized. It pleased me. Near dusk, the co-parenting app lit again. "Clinic Tuesday, noon. I will be alone." "Confirmed," I wrote. "Nurse present. 30 minutes. Just after I hit send, the building fire panel chirped, then wailed. Alarms drove residents into the hall, sleepy and annoyed. I lifted the diaper bag, the carriers, the folder with the order, the pediatric file, the notebook. My father opened the door. Smoke did not curl. No heat. My neighbor with the tiny dog mouthed, "False." Security moved brisk and calm toward the stairwell. The panel reset. Silence returned, embarrassed. The manager called from downstairs. Someone pulled a station in the garage. No hazard. Cameras caught a woman in sunglasses hurrying out a side door. "We have the time and the frame. Do you want the stills?" "Yes," I said. "Send them." The images landed in my inbox. Grainy, but distinct enough. Sunglasses, coral coat, a habit of looking for cameras and still being seen. I forwarded them to my lawyer and to my brother. He replied, "The more she tries, the clearer the order becomes." Evening folded back into ordinary. Bottles, warm water, sleep. The bell on the door did not ring. The condo felt tall again. I set the phone on the table and opened the laptop to pay a bill. A new email slid in with a subject line that did not try to scare me. Court notice. Mediation slot available Thursday. Voluntary. On video. A simple option for people who can follow simple rules. I took it. I do not fight in rooms where no one listens. I talk in rooms built to record. I closed the lid and listened to the apartment's small, faithful noises. My father checked the chain. The twins sighed. Somewhere below us, a neighbor opened a can with a soft metal snap. The intercom chimed the quiet staff code. The manager again, voice level. "Ms. Martin, quick update. A woman is at the desk asking to speak to the father of the twins and to review medical decisions. She claims to be listed as a guardian. She's holding a document. Do you want me to read the name on it?" "Read the name," I said. The manager's voice stayed flat. "Document says temporary medical guardian. Name listed is his mother. Single signature. No parent signatures. Notarization block is blank." "Scan and email it," I said. "Do not hand it back. Log the attempt." "Copy," she said. The line clicked off. Paper first. The scan hit my inbox before the kettle boiled. 1 page of wishful language cut from the internet and dressed like law. No statute. No facility letterhead. No signatures that matter. I forwarded it to my lawyer with the subject line "Misc costume." Her reply was fast and clean. Void. Clinics require parental authorization or court orders. Add a HIPAA note to the pediatric file limiting disclosures to you, your father, and the co-parent during scheduled visits. I will notify their counsel to cease misrepresentation. I called the clinic. Please add a disclosure note, I said. Mother only. During visits, father is listed. No third parties. The nurse confirmed, typed, read it back. Words that sit in a system and do not move. Downstairs, the manager called again. She is unhappy, she said. She says she will call the police. Good, I said. Ask for an officer to document that she attempted to present a false guardianship. I will provide our file number. My father set 2 mugs on the table. Less talk, he said. More receipts. We waited while the building did its small, faithful breathing. The intercom chimed. The officer's voice came up calm. We logged her statement and the document. We advised her to leave. She left. We can attach the scan to your report. Attach it, I said. Thank you. I opened the notebook. Event, date, evidence, sent to. A line for false guardianship doc at desk. A line for police incident number. The page turned heavier without gaining weight. He wrote in the co-parenting app near dusk. My mother overstepped. I did not ask her to come. I will be alone Tuesday and for mediation Thursday. Hold to that, I answered. Clinic noon, 30 minutes, nurse present. Night settled. My father took the chair by the door and opened his paperback. The bell on the inside knob hung quiet as a held breath. The twins slept in a rhythm that felt like a metronome finding tempo. Morning brought an email from the clerk. The judge had granted the narrow protective order pending the short hearing. It covered the condo, the garage, and exchange sites. It listed his mother by name. It read like a fence that had been there all along. I printed the order and slid a copy into the folder labeled Paper Walls. Another copy went inside the diaper bag. One more on the fridge for me to see and no one else. Clarity beats charm. Pastor Elaine texted a practical grace. If Tuesday feels heavy, a volunteer can walk with you from the garage to the lobby. Many eyes make light work. I thanked her and said we were steady. Tuesday came with clean light. We reached the clinic 5 minutes early. He arrived on time and alone. No flowers, no coat drama, just a man in a quiet shirt who kept his eyes on his daughters and off the door. The nurse stayed. The clock moved. He asked 2 practical questions about formula and sleep. He did not ask for keys. He did not touch the stroller without looking at me first. I signed a studio, he said softly. I start moving this weekend. Good, I said. Send the address through the app. It helps the calendar. He nodded. The nurse charted without hurry. The half hour ended the way it should end. We signed the visit summary. Paper closed the door we had opened for that small window. Outside, winter air had a little bite and a little sun. My father loaded the stroller. In the truck, I opened an email from my lawyer. Their counsel withdrew the fake guardianship angle. Mediation still set for Thursday. Keep the record clean. Bring your notebook. At home, the condo stood taller than fear. Bottles, burp cloths, a load of laundry, 2 quick client emails. Solvable problems. The bell did not ring. The hallway remained just a hallway. Near evening, the property manager called with a tone I had come to trust. We have implemented your do not knock list. Front desk is briefed. Security has the order in their book. Also, a reminder, you can request that all packages be held at the desk. We can bring them up only on your call. Hold all packages, I said. Desk only. The co-parenting app pinged. Thank you for today. I will attend mediation. Alone. Confirmed, I wrote. Video link is in your email. Read the ground rules. I made tea and wrote a small card for my pocket on Thursday. 10 lines for 10 levers I would pull if voices tried to climb. Speak low. Facts first. Do not negotiate in hypotheticals. Repeat the order, not the story. Redirect to the app. Name the location. Name the time. Name who attends. Name who does not. End sentences. Breathe. My father sharpened a pencil with a pocket knife and redrew the building on fresh graph paper. Mediation is a room without doors, he said. You bring your own. Night thinned. The twins slept like a lesson you can learn. I checked the chain. The bell kept its small silver silence. Just before midnight, my lawyer called. "Fast update," she said. Their side floated a proposal. "Grandmother wants a weekly drop-in at your condo to assist with infant care." I declined. I offered public, supervised time at the library once a month if and only if trust stabilizes after the hearing. No response yet. "Thank you," I said. "No house access. Not now. Not later." Understood. Morning drew a pale line across the crib. I brewed coffee and opened the petition again, not to read it, but to feel how thin it was compared to the weight of the order. Paper is not muscle. It is bone. It holds the shape when willpower gets tired. Before noon, a message from the clinic. Someone called asking to add a grandparent note. We declined per your file and flagged the account. If calls continue, we will route to legal. "Thank you," I said. "You have what you need." "More than enough," the nurse said. "Your notes are very clear." I hung up and looked at the index card on the fridge. Clarity beats charm. It had begun as a private joke. It had become a hinge. Afternoon slid, quiet and ordinary. The neighbor with the tiny dog texted a photo of the quilt from Pastor Elaine, tucked over a lap in the pews, a circle of hands around it. "Reinforce the stitches," she wrote. People often think resilience is force. Sometimes it is thread. My brother texted from the sidewalk near the Maple studio. He carried a crib up the stairs. No mother in sight. He was not watching on purpose. Cities are small when lives shrink to size. I typed back a single word. Noted. Evening brought a small wobble. A private number called 3 times in a row. I sent it to voicemail. A minute later, a text arrived with a link to a social media post where his mother wrote a paragraph about being kept from her grandchildren by a spiteful daughter-in-law. Comments churned. I took a screenshot, filed it, and put the phone face down. The order cares nothing for comment sections. The twins settled. My father checked the chain and sat. The apartment breathed slow and equal. Systems again, not speeches. I opened the laptop to review the mediation link and found a new email from the clerk stamped late. A supplemental notice. The judge had advanced the short hearing by a day due to calendar shifts. It would now precede mediation. Good. Rules before conversation. I printed the notice and slid it behind the order. The folder looked like a spine with its vertebrae aligned. At the edge of sleep, the intercom chimed the quiet staff code. The manager again, steady as a metronome. "Ms. Martin, short update. The same woman tried to drop off formula at the desk with a note asking us to sneak it up so the babies won't starve. We logged it and refused. Would you like the note scanned?" "Yes," I said. "File it." "I will. Also, we just received a certified envelope addressed to you from the court. Do you want it held or brought to the desk for pickup?" "Hold," I said. "Desk only. I will sign in the morning." Copy. I set the phone down and listened to the building settle. The bell did not move. The hall stayed empty. The twins exhaled in soft stereo. At dawn, I signed for the certified envelope at the desk and broke the seal under the lobby camera. Inside lay the hearing notice and a single extra page I had not expected. A sworn declaration from him, not his mother, admitting the appliance order and the address change attempt and asking the court to add a line barring his mother from my floor. I carried the certified envelope upstairs and set it on the table like a small animal that might bite. The extra page changed the air. His declaration was short, typed, signed. He admitted the appliance order. He admitted the address change attempt. He asked the court to bar his mother from my floor. I forwarded the scan to my lawyer. She called within minutes. "Good," she said. "It narrows the lane. We will keep our ask clean, preserve the narrow order, add the bar on his mother, require exchanges only at listed sites, co-parenting app only, and hold each party to no third-party interference." My father poured tea and set the cup by my notebook. "Truth is leverage," he said. "Paper is the hand that turns it." The morning slid toward the hearing. I packed the folder, The pediatric notes, the postal case number, the building logs, the librarian's signed slips. I dressed the twins, handed them to my father, and walked into the second bedroom where the laptop waited like a bench in a small courtroom. My lawyer entered the video square first, then the clerk, then the judge, then him. He sat alone. No floral shadow behind his shoulder, no sunglasses, no performance. He looked like a man who had read his own name attached to things that would outlast a tantrum. The judge spoke the way carpenters measure, even, exact. He confirmed names, then framed the scope. This is limited to the residence, the exchange sites, and third-party interference. We are not litigating divorce, custody, or support today. My lawyer walked the record as if stepping stones were set in water. Appliance attempt documented by building. Address change attempt logged with postal inspectors. Wellness check call noted. Library incident noted. False guardianship document presented and void. Access file edit attempt, blocked and traced. She said it without color and stopped at each proof long enough to let it breathe. He spoke next, voice lower than the last time I had heard it in any room. I did those two things, he said. I have signed a lease at Maple. I am moving this weekend. I have told my mother not to go to the building, the clinic, or the library. I will use the app. I will come alone. The judge turned to his screen and said the line that separates adults from noise. Do you understand that your mother's choices will be attributed to you if you invite them or fail to stop them? He nodded once. I understand. The judge addressed me. Do you seek a blanket restraining order? No, I said, a narrow one that holds. He nodded. The gavel did not fall. It does not need to on video. The words held place. Order continues. Scope clarified. The mother of the respondent is barred from the petitioner's floor, from exchange sites during windows, and from the clinic unless explicitly invited by the petitioner in writing. Exchanges occur at the clinic, the library children's room, or the police lobby. Communication through the co-parenting app only. No third-party contact. Any appliance or delivery attempts without the deed holder present are unauthorized. Any maintenance requests require deed holder confirmation. Officers who respond to calls will be provided this order on arrival. He paused. If there is another wellness check called without basis, the caller risks a misuse finding. My lawyer asked for one more line. Clerical note directing the clinic to rely on the petitioner's HIPAA directive. Granted, the judge said. The clerk will circulate the signed order by late afternoon. He looked at him. Sir, do you have questions? He shook his head. No, Your Honor. Use the next month to become predictable, the judge said. Courts like predictable. He ended the session. The squares vanished. The room went back to being a room. My phone buzzed. My lawyer. Clean win. Print and file when it arrives. Mediation remains voluntary. We go in with the order as the floor, not the ceiling. I stepped into the living room. My father had the twins in their carrier seats, lined up like a quiet audience. Paper? He asked. Paper, I said. He nodded. He does not celebrate. He marks. The clerk's email landed by mid-afternoon, signed order attached. I printed 3 copies, one for the folder, one for the diaper bag, one for the fridge where only I would read it. Clarity beats charm. He wrote in the app. I read the order. I will follow it. I am moving boxes tonight. Here is the lease address, a unit number at Maple. I added it to the notebook. The property manager called. We have the order, she said. Security has it, desk has it, maintenance has it. Deliveries to your unit remain desk hold only. You can add specific names to a do not serve list. The 2 names in the order are already on it. Thank you, I said. Small tools, big house. The twins slept. I opened 2 client spreadsheets and saw my brain remember its old muscles. Numbers held still. Columns obeyed. A billable hour logged. It felt like stepping back into a room I owned. Near dusk, a new message in the app. Mediation Thursday. I will attend alone. Copy, I wrote. We will keep to the order. No new asks, No surprises. Practical only. He added one more line. I enrolled in a parenting class that meets on Sundays. The church by the park. They said they have a spot. I read it twice. It did not fix old damage. It was an input that could, over time, change an output. Send the schedule through the app, I answered. It helps logistics. Evening put its familiar weight on the building. My neighbor with the tiny dog knocked lightly and slid a bag of groceries through the gap when I opened the chain. Pantry staples, she said. No brand drama. Receipt inside if you want it. Systems attract systems. The good kind. The intercom chimed the staff code. The manager again. Short note. The same woman called to complain that she is being defamed by the order. We told her to contact her counsel. We logged the call. Thank you, I said. Desk only. Always desk. I fed the twins. My father checked the chain, then sat in his chair with the paperback balanced like a quiet badge. Peace did not arrive with trumpet noise. It arrived like a routine that refuses to apologize for being ordinary. In the morning, Pastor Elaine texted a sentence engineered for people in rooms like this. If mediation wobbles, end the call. You are allowed to require a grown-up room. I wrote the sentence on an index card and slid it behind the laptop screen where only I would see it. Mediation day came. A neutral facilitator in a square, my lawyer in another, me in one room, him in another room. The facilitator began with rules like traffic lights. No interruptions, no side channels, cameras on. We start with the order as the floor. He spoke first. Short, practical asks that stayed within the new fence. He wanted the library and clinic windows posted 2 weeks ahead. He wanted permission to send a weekly check-in message through the app, limited to health and schedule, no commentary. He wanted a path to a second weekly visit in 3 months if all held steady, still in public and supervised. I said yes to the posts, yes to the weekly check-in with a cap on length and content. As for a second visit, I said the only thing that does not overpromise. Perform the first window well for 2 months. No interference, no extras. Then we reassess. If the record is clean, we add a second visit at the same kind of site. The facilitator wrote, repeated, confirmed. The notes made a shape. The shape looked like a lane. Then the facilitator asked the predictably dangerous question. Any third-party participants you would like me to add to potential future discussions? No, I said. No, he said, almost on my syllable. The facilitator smiled the way professionals do when a wall holds. Then we keep it two-party, counsel included. We ended early because adults doing adult work save time. The facilitator sent a short memo. We both acknowledged it in the app. No flourishes, no speeches. I closed the laptop and felt the condo align again. Air. Light. Furniture that stays where it is placed. My father poured water into the kettle and did not need to say anything. At the clinic visit that week, he arrived on time and alone. He kept his phone in his pocket. He asked about sleep and formula in sentences that did not lean. The nurse charted. The half hour ended. He signed the summary. The librarian signed the note at the next visit. Patterns formed, predictable. Between visits, the building stayed quiet. The desk held packages. Security logged. The do not knock list did its small, relentless work. The bell on the door never rang. On Sunday, he sent a photo through the app of a church basement classroom with plastic chairs and a whiteboard that said Parenting Group Week 1. No commentary, just the photo. My reply was the smallest thing that still counts. Noted. I paid 2 bills. I answered a client. I folded laundry that smelled like clean cotton and not like someone else's life. The twins napped and woke and smiled the unfakeable smile that has nothing to do with adults and their paperwork. Afternoon thinned. My brother texted from Maple. He carried a high chair up the stairs. Alone. Quiet. No mother. Logged, I wrote back. Evening settled. My father checked the chain. The city hummed in low gear. I opened the notebook and wrote a line for myself that did not go in any file. Peace is not luck. Peace is policy plus time. My phone buzzed once. A new message in the app. I signed an affidavit adding a line that my mother is not allowed to attend exchanges, visits, or contact the clinic. I will upload it once the clerk stamps it. It was more paper pointing in the same direction. I typed back, "When stamped, send it. Keep doing the boring things right. That is the only path we have." Night pressed its calm hand on the windows. The bell hung still. The twins breathed slow and regular. The kettle clicked. At dawn, a letter arrived from the court with a date 2 months out. A status conference to review compliance and adjust the schedule if the record stayed clean. I set the date in the notebook and wrote 2 words beneath it, not as hope, but as a plan. Hold steady. I wrote the status date in the notebook and closed the cover on the words steady. The condo breathed like a chest that fits. Week 1 after the hearing held. Library, clinic, 30 minutes, nurse present. He arrived alone. He kept his phone in his pocket. The librarian dot over the I stayed cheerful. The nurse's clipboard stayed calm. The app stayed boring. Boring is the goal. Week 2 held. The building stayed quiet. Front desk logged. Packages sat at the desk until I called. The do not knock list did its slow work. My father checked the chain each night and read the same paperback like a metronome. The bell on the door did not move. He sent the stamped affidavit adding the line about his mother. I filed it under paper walls. He sent the Maple address, the parenting class schedule, a photo of a crib assembled without commentary. I replied with 1 word each time. Noted. Pastor Elaine texted a slot for childcare on Sunday. I took it. An hour of quiet is not luxury. It is maintenance. I used it to sort receipts and to sharpen pencils, systems like sharp edges. By the time the conference arrived, the record was clean. The judge read the memo, raised no eyebrows, and spoke like a level. Order remains. Same windows, same sites, same app. If predictability continues for 2 months more, the parties may stipulate to a second weekly visit in the same conditions. Any change in conduct resets the clock. We both said, understood. The clerk filed the words where they cannot forget themselves. After the call, my father put the kettle on and finally moved his chair 2 inches away from the door. Not far. Far enough to mean something. He looked at the bell and nodded once. "Keep it," he said. "Good habits deserve company." The condo learned new sounds, laughter that did not ask permission, bottles clinking like glass coins in a clean sink, my neighbor's tiny dog scuffing the hall, and then the soft tap that means casserole, receipt included. The quilt from church thinned and held. Quiet armies do not need uniforms. Work came back in the measured way work should. I answered clients in complete clauses and watched numbers behave. My brain remembered itself. The twins learned light. Morning pulled a pale stripe across their crib, and they smiled like a door opening. He kept walking the lane. Library, clinic, 30 minutes, witness present. He asked about naps and formula and left when the clock said leave. When the second month ended clean, we added a second window. Same rules, same light, no speeches. He did not bring anyone. He did not test the walls. He became predictable, and courts like predictable, and babies like it more. His mother did not vanish. People like that never simply vanish, but her orbit cooled, desk only, logged and discarded. The order did what orders do when adults hold them. It turned noise into distance. I did not forgive second fridges or labeled food or boxes with my grandmother's dishes, packed for a life that was not mine. Forgiveness is not required for safety. What I did was clearer and smaller. I kept my rules. I kept my records. I kept my key. On a Tuesday afternoon, washed in a meek winter sun, I took down the index card from the fridge and wrote a new line beneath the old one. Clarity beats charm. Under it, routines are love in straight lines. I slid the card back. Private liturgy. My father folded the graph papers into a neat stack and tucked them in a drawer. "We keep them," he said. "We may never need them. That is the point." At the next library visit, the children's room smelled like lemon and paper. The librarian waved, the dot over the I steady as ever. He sat, took a daughter when I nodded, and did not steer. The song about buses rolled on its small wheels. A scarf brushed a small foot. Nobody performed. Everybody behaved. On the walk home, the city tried a breeze and then gave up. The building's gate closed behind us with a metal sentence I trusted. I signed for a package at the desk and laughed when I read the label. A single magnetic timer shaped like a tiny clock. I stuck it on the stove and set it for 30 minutes. It ticked with the faith of a machine that does one thing and does it well. That night, after the bottles and the burps and the charted sleep, I opened the notebook to the first page and ran my finger down the 4 columns that built a spine. Event, date, evidence, sent to. I added one more line in a smaller hand. Status conference complete. Order holds. Lane clear. Then I wrote what I had earned the right to write, not as a speech, but as an inventory. The house is mine. The voice is mine. The map is ours. I closed the book and placed it in the drawer labeled policy. Not noise, not war. Policy. Peace is not luck. Peace is policy plus time. The bell did not ring. The fan turned. The twins breathed the soft proof that small laws kept daily build a life.